Brought to you by Almond Auctions, the worldwide leader in antique tractor auctions.
Hempstead, Maryland is the home of Herb Wessel, a retired dairy farmer with a serious passion for all things Case.
The history of Case is really fascinating. Started by old J.I. Case many years ago, and Case made the widest variety of items of anybody, from automobiles to steam engines to thresh machines to tractors to a full line of equipment.
Since his son took over the family farm 20 years ago, Herb has stayed busy collecting a little bit of everything, filling barns that used to hold dairy cows with pieces of farming's past.
This is our main tractor shed. In here we have tractors and combines and balers. This is a Case 2040. Case came out with this in 1912, and this happens to be a 1918 model. One of their first successful gas tractor, actually made to run on gas or kerosene. And over here we have C, O, CC, C.
With over 60 tractors in his collection, Herb also has a passion for preserving classic farm implements and machinery.
We have a VC tractor hooked to a Case corn binder. We restored the corn binder last winter. That was a challenge. There are lots and lots of parts to a corn binder. We had them scattered all over the shop. I like to collect the machinery that went with the tractors. I think it's important that we preserve that as well as the tractors. A piece of machinery like a binder or a thresher, when it's parked out in the fence row, it doesn't last long. So it's important to get those things while they're still available and also restore those. This is a Deering New Ideal Reaper, about 1917 according to the parts book that I have. Someone gave me this about 10 or 15 years ago. It was in really rough shape, and I took it completely apart, cleaned parts, painted it up, and I'm rebuilding it from ground up.
While Herb enjoys the detailed work that goes into restoring these old machines back to original condition, he's still a kid at heart who's not afraid to get his toys out and play with them once in a while.
This little half-acre patch you hear behind me is the only farming that I do. We rented our farm to another farmer in the neighborhood, and I kept a half-acre plot just to raise sweet corn and to play with my toys. Now this spring when I got ready to plow the plot, I like to hear the old L run, so I got the L out, and I hooked it up to a 3-bottom plow, which is really much smaller than the L would pull. Big mistake. I should have plowed with a 1-bottom plow because it didn't last long enough. I didn't have fun long enough.
From plowing to planting to harvest, Herb makes the most of the half-acre he's hung on to, using only classic tractors and implements to complete the work.
I think it's important to restore the equipment that goes with a tractor. I get really bored when I go to the show and see row after row of tractors with nothing hooked on. It's more educational to see something hooked to the tractor that they would have actually done, and preferably actually see them working the equipment.
Yes, there's fun to be found all over Herb Wessel's Working Case Museum, and the collection doesn't stop at just tractors and implements.
When you start collecting Case, you find out that Case made a car. Well, you just got to have one.
Indeed, the J.I. Case Company built impressive but expensive cars until 1927, and there were even 3 Case cars in the first Indianapolis 500 race way back in 1911.
This is a 1913 Model 30 Case car. This was restored by a gentleman in Michigan in about 1970. We've had it about 5 or 6 years. We drive it on several of the tours, local tours. We had it on a reliability tour a couple of years ago where we drove it a couple hundred miles. This is a 1922 Case Model W car, 5-passenger. We completely restored this from frame up. There's 3 of these known to exist, one in Chicago and one in a museum in Nebraska.
From beautiful classic cars to combines to tractors, there's a little bit of Case in almost everything Herb does. So what makes Case king of the Wessel farm?
I guess we got into Case because my dad had his first new tractor was a Case, which I still have. And I have a Case that I bought new in 54. I have 3 tractors that my dad had owned at one time. This is a 1952 DC, a 1948D, and I also have a 1942 DC that he bought new.
It all starts with a tractor Dad had and grows into full-blown classic tractor fever. But with so many cases to consider, can Herb find a favorite?
Whichever one I happen to be on at the time.
Sounds good to me, Herb. And thanks for preserving all these pieces of the past. Now, case closed.